So I've recently bought a lot of books and I want to do a book haul for you guys. Hello y'all and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to do a book haul with you guys. Over the past 2 to 3 weeks, I have been collecting some books here and there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I have accumulated to add on to this already pretty full bookshelf. So we can go ahead and start off with this book because I did already read this, but I bought this book at a Goodwill not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago. This is Sir Kendrick and the Castle of Belle Leon. This book is actually a Christian fiction book. It is basically inspired by Christianity and the story of Jesus and his return. So this book is about knights and princes and kings and mystical creatures and things of that nature, but basically set to be, I guess you can almost say like an allegory for the story of Christianity. I did enjoy this book. I gave it 3.5 stars. Yeah, pretty good read so far. The next book that I have is The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I read Huckleberry Finn a couple of years ago and really enjoyed it and was like, I need to read Tom Sawyer, as Huckleberry Finn is a character from this book. So I am happy that I was able to come across this at a Goodwill for about $2 and I'm excited to read it. The next book that we got here, I got from thriftbooks.com. This is Princess Academy. I've just really been in a princessy, royal kind of vibe. So I've kind of picked up a few books in these kind of a settings. And this one I think is actually geared towards more like children. Like I think this is more like a children's book, but either way though, a good book is a good book. And a lot of people rated this book really high and said it was one of their favorite books. This book basically, if I'm not mistaken, is like inspired by the story of Esther. It's called The Princess Academy, where a bunch of girls are taken to an academy to be trained to be princesses to one day marry the king or a prince or something of the sort. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this book. I think I am going to read this book actually next. The next book that I have here is one that I have heard so many good things about and so many people raving about, and also so many people saying it's one of the saddest books they ever read, and that is A Thousand Splendid Suns, and it is written by the same author who wrote The Kite Runner. I honestly do not know much about this storyline. I'm not even going to try and pretend like I do, but from what I can gather, though, I think it focuses around a young boy, and I'm pretty sure he might be living like in poverty or something of the sort. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that this book also is focused around domestic violence as well. So I'm not really sure, but that's a trigger warning for some who may want to read this book and just may want to know that. But yeah, that is A Thousand Splendid Suns. The next book that I got here was actually recommended to me in a book group that I am in. Someone made a post basically saying to post a picture of yourself and post a book that kind of shows your aesthetics and see what books people would recommend to you. And someone recommended this book to me, which is crazy because I actually have heard of this book and have been interested in the past to read it. This is Like Water for Chocolates. This is centered around a Latino family. On the front, it says a novel in monthly installments with recipes, romances, and home remedies. I don't really again know a lot of details about this book, but what I can gather from what I've kind of read about it and just kind of like what people have stated about it, I think I'm going to really enjoy it. I recently read Esperanza Rising again. Not to say that this book is probably exactly the same, but I just like the vibes of stories centered around families, especially families of people who are in different cultures than myself. The next book that we have here is a part two of a series that I'm reading. So this is The Hidden Flames. It is the second book to The Centurion's Wife. I did post or will be posting a video of me going over the books I read in the month of December and January. And in January, I read the first book to this series. So I'm going to be reading the second one. These books are historical fictions. They are set in the biblical time period, specifically in the New Testament. So we do get to have some of the people who are in the New Testament, like the disciples and stuff, that are like background characters in these books, but the main characters are usually fake people that's made up by the author, and usually there is some kind of love story that is going on. The next book that I have here is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I have never personally heard about this book until I was just doing some research on thrift books and just buying some books. And I looked at the reviews, and a lot of people raved about this book and said it was one of their favorite books and one of their favorite childhood reads. If I'm not mistaken, I think this book is also another book that deals with like classism. I think that this young girl is growing up like poor and poverty, and we're basically like following her life. I think this is a coming of age story, and it takes place, as you can tell, in Brooklyn during the early 1900s. The next book that I actually have here is from the Dollar Tree. This is The Circus Train. This book is focused around a character named Lena. This is during the beginning or during the time of World War II. Her father is a illusionist in the circus, so they are a circus family or in the circus. I can give you a little synopsis of what it says on the back because I think it sounds very interesting. It says, this is part two of the summary. As World War II escalates around them, this is her and her friend, um, their friendship blossoms into something deeper while Alexandre trains as the illusionist apprentice. But when Theo and Alexandre are arrested and made to perform in a town for Jews set up by the Nazis, Lena is separated from everything she knows, forced to make her own way. Lena must confront her doubts and dare to believe in the impossible herself. So the next book that we have here is The Princess by Lori Wick. To be honest, I had never heard of this author, and it was interesting when I saw this book at the Goodwill. I picked it up. I was like, okay, it's about a princess, like right up my alley. I learned that it is a Christian fiction book, and the funny thing is, I went into one of my Facebook groups later that day. It's the same day I bought this book, and someone made a post saying, can someone please recommend to me some good Christian fiction? And a lot of people actually posted this as a book that they recommended and were saying that it was a really good book and that this was a really good author. So I thought that that was kind of ironic because I just had bought the book. So I was like, what are the odds that a post would be posted and this book would be recommended? And I literally just bought this book today. And from what I can gather about the book, it is regarding a girl who is a normal commoner who ends up marrying a prince, and it just kind of follows their love story and her life with this with this prince. Next book that I picked up was The Midnight Rose. I'm going to be honest with you, I have really no idea what this book is about. Even when I read the back of it, I still have no idea what is going on, but I'm here for it and excited to read it. It's talking about someone who is British named Raj. There's also something about a princess. There's also something about an American film star. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff going on in this book, and honestly, I'm here for it, excited to read it. I think that this is also historical fiction. Again, another book that is occurring within the early 1900s. Back basically says of this book, spanning 4 generations, the Midnight Rose sweeps from the glittering palaces of the great, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, in India to the majestic, stately homes of England, following the extraordinary life of a remarkable girl, Cheval, from 1911 to the present day. The next book that I picked up was a Dollar Tree find. Yes, it was. This book is called Murder at the Majestic Hotel. And as we can assume, this is a murder mystery. I think this is part of a series, though. Like, the main character in this book, there's quite a few of her story. I think she's like a detective or something. Not quite sure, but I am really excited to read this book. The next book that we have here is a memoir. I picked this up from a thrift store. This is called The Girl Who Smiled Beads, a story of war and what comes after. Here is our main. Here she is. This is about her and her sister trying to escape during a major war or massacre, I should say, that was going on in where they lived. It says, to be more specific, they would spend the next 6 years migrating through 7 African countries, searching for safety, enduring and escaping refugee camps, finding unexpected kindness, witnessing inhuman cruelty. So yeah, that is what this is about. I'm excited to read this. This kind of reminded me of another book that I once read called A Long Walk to the Water. So I was like, you know what? I can read this, especially this month with it being February. It's Black History Month, so I really thought this would be a really good read. Last but certainly not least, we have Sisters of the Resistance by Christine Wells. This book is about girls, females, people who get swept up by the Catherine Dior, who is the sister of Christian Dior, during the time of World War II. They are basically recruited by Catherine Dior, the two main characters of this book, to basically be spies in a very dangerous time. So I'm excited to read this and figure out what is going on. And yeah, this is a historical fiction that is right up my alley, as you can tell by now. Well, that is all the books that I have for you at this time. I'm excited to read them. Stay tuned as I continue to make book content. You'll be able to know if I read any of these books and how I feel about them. Also, again, I did make a book review or book rating video for the last books that I read in December and January. So if you would be interested in that, you can go ahead and watch that video as well. It should already be uploaded. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. And I do hope that you have a wonderful, blessed day. Bye.